Lieutenant John Walker, Southwest Detectives. We're just going to give you a little update on what happened here last night as we spent a lot of hours over the course of the night trying to figure out the situation. Obviously, it was a chaotic situation last night. A lot of things go on, a lot of information being shared and passed. So now that we've been able to settle down and talk to all the parties involved, we have somewhat of an idea of what happened here. We're looking at a few different motives that we're not going to discuss, but at this point, we're very thankful to the doctors at Children's Hospital who phenomenally worked to save this child. I mean, it's incredible when I talk to the medical staff after surgery to listen to the doctors that were in there. And this kid's hit 3 times with .40 caliber bullets at a close range. All 3 bullets were found in his body, in his stomach. One to the left shoulder that went through his body. Another one went through his left side and straight across his body. And another one to his left hip. So the kid miraculously made it through that surgery at around 2 o'clock this morning and went back in surgery around 6 a.m. So he's got a lot of surgeries ahead of him, and we're asking for the public's prayers to help this young man. I mean, he doesn't deserve to be in this situation. Unfortunately, he has been, and it's just a horrifying situation. So what we know now is that the 21-year-old father was with him last night. He was getting ready to take the kid back to the mother who lives in the north section of the city, and apparently he was in the car playing with the kid, as he always does, playing on the phone, and it just fed him some McDonald's. At some time, a gunman walks up to the car, close range. As you saw the pictures of the car, the gunman walks right up to the car and fires 8 times through the driver's side window, miraculously not killing both of them with the close range and the close grouping of the gunshot. So the fortunate thing is the father had both seats reclined all the way back, which I think saved him from getting killed. But the father was injured. He's got a gunshot wound to the forehead, which has affected his eye. He's in surgery again this morning to try to correct his eye issue. And then he'll be going to some other surgery. He's got a broken femur. So what we're asking for is the public's help here. I mean, we got a 1.5-year-old kid who's at the hospital suffering immensely. We know there's people out there that know what went on here. To the shooter, you know who you are. We will eventually find you. And we know that you knew that kid was in that car. And to fire a gun with kids in that car is just unacceptable. And you need to do the right thing and turn yourself in and face these charges here. So, any questions, we'll take them this time.
Firing at the cars, he pulled away, looked like the father took off at a high rate of speed.
The father did some incredible moves. He did, and we definitely have evidence that there's shots fired at the car as it was moving away. And fortunately, he's only 2 blocks away from a police station. He's able to get there. And obviously the officers, when they opened that door, they didn't expect to see a 1-year-old kid shot. They grabbed the kid, they ran him over to the medical people in the firehouse. Unfortunately, we initially thought that medics were there, but they weren't, so they had to rush him to the hospital. And
any
the doctors were.
Motive was here at all?
We're getting some information. We're running down a few tips at this point that we're getting, but we don't have a clear motive, so we don't want to discuss anything at this point. But there's no doubt the father was the intended target here in his investigation, but his son was brought into this, and that's just 100% wrong.
Do you have any sort of description of a suspect or a suspect vehicle, anything?
Nothing. I mean, unfortunately, the area is a residential area, and it feeds into Cow Creek. There's not a lot of foot traffic out there at all, and there's not a lot of cameras at this point. We do have a team of video investigators out there looking for the neighbor, trying to canvass a little bit further than where the scene was, to hopefully see a person or a car fleeing from the area. There's not a lot of vehicle or foot traffic out there, and we're hoping that somebody who, listen, let's be for real here, the person who shot is known by people out there. There's no doubt in my mind. And those people who know this individual and knows what he did need to call our tip line and provide the information, because this person has no regards for their community and needs to do the right thing.
So you believe there's only one shooter?
At this point, it appears there's one shooter, and it appears a total of 10 shots were fired into that car. 8 in the grouping.
Lying in wait, it was an ambush.
No doubt. No doubt the person was waiting for this guy. And there's no doubt that he knew that kid was in that car. And when he ran up to that car, there's no doubt his intent was to kill this individual.
And so he ran up, and you said he ran up to the car and just ran away after?
Correct. The father was parked in a parking space with the kid in the car. And we know he ran up to that car from the physical evidence we have out there. And if he fled on foot or fled in the car, we don't know that. He could have went many different directions out there, including Cobbs Creek Parkway.